One of these pieces of fruit does not look like the other. Ah, that's because it's the Microsoft Lumia 640, Microsoft's latest mid to budget range Lumia smartphone. In terms of physical feel, this is a pretty basic phone. You've just got basic buttons. There's no camera button as you might find on some Lumia devices. Charging is via micro USB and there's a standard headphone port. There's really not too much to say here. Like most Lumias, the Lumia 640 looks like most Lumias. It's got that kind of design that most of them have had for some time, and within its $299 asking price point in Australia, that's actually a big plus. You don't see much in the way of real design work at that kind of price point. Obviously the review model I've got is bright orange and that might not suit your tastes, but there's plenty of choices to go around. What do you get for your $299 once you go past that plastic outer shell though? Well, you get a 1.2 GHz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor. That's not the latest and greatest by a very, very long shot, but Microsoft's pretty good at optimizing for lower core devices, for making them a lot more than they should be, so it actually kind of punches above its weight in this sense. The display is a 5-inch 1280 by 720 16:9. That's, again, not spectacular, but it's perfectly serviceable within this kind of price point, and it's certainly nice and bright. The Lumia 640 is also LTE capable. The model in Australia is a single SIM model with LTE. There's no sign of the dual SIM here at this point. It's a Windows Phone 8.1 Denim phone, which means you get Cortana. Now in Australia we get Cortana in alpha version, which means she doesn't always work all the time. When she does work, she's quite clever, she's quite smart, and she's quite a decent scheduling tool in the same kind of way that things like Google Now and Siri are. If you like this kind of thing, it's good to have it on a phone at this price point. The primary camera is an 8 megapixel autofocus model, and it arguably shoots a little bit above its weight. Like most smartphone cameras, yes, it's going to struggle a bit if you go into low light conditions, but you can get some quite pleasant photos out of the rear shooter. Not so much with the 1 megapixel front shooter. If you're a big selfie shooter, it's a bit of a problem. The Lumia camera app is actually quite enticing. It's quite good, it's quite powerful, it gives you a lot of control, although I'm willing to bet this will not be the most exciting photo I've ever taken. Yep, I was right. Most boring photo ever. So what's not to like about the 640? Well, whilst it makes a lot out of that processor, it's not the fastest, it's not the snappiest, it's not the latest and greatest, and you'd expect that at this price point. Where it does have some problems is in storage. It's only got 8 gig on board, and of course you don't actually get access to all of that. So adding a micro SD card would be a very, very sensible move. The Lumia 640's 2500 mAh battery is adequate, but that's the best I can say about it. You are going to have to recharge this thing every single day, otherwise it will go flat on your second day. Again, that's pretty standard for a phone at this kind of price point. Then, and I know I'm going to cop some flack for this, there's the issue of apps on the Windows Phone store. Now, I know Microsoft have this new development where they're looking to get iOS and Android app developers to easily port their apps across. Maybe that will bear fruit in the future, but for right now, all I can do is assess it on what it's got. And while the app offering has expanded, it's not on the same kind of par as Android or iOS. If you like those app experiences, that's the way to go for this kind of stuff. Windows Phone is still trailing them, even though, yes, a lot of the core experiences are there now. Final thoughts, is the 640 worth buying? Yeah, I think it actually is. At $299 for an LTE phone in Australia, it's a very good little device. You've got to like Windows Phone, you've got to put up with those particular app limitations, and obviously you'd really want to buy some more storage to go along with it. But within those constraints, it's a really good phone. If you've enjoyed this review, feel free to leave me a comment below, and remember to hit that subscribe button.